We in the tech space probably want an iPad mini Pro, Pro Motion, 120 hertz display, OLED. We want the bells and whistles we get into a Pro, but into a smaller compact form because we like the mini. It's easy to carry around. It's easy to take with you. In a way, it's sort of an extension of your phone in some respects, but it's not as powerful as, let's say, the 16 Pro Max. I understand the need for that Pro machine, but I think in Apple's mindset, this is a utilitarian device. This is a device that students can use, employees can use, anybody can take with you. It's not supposed to be the device for creating content. It's for consuming content. Yes, you can create stuff on this. Photoshop, Lightroom, you can edit videos, you can do all that on this, you can. But it is a smaller display. Of course, when you go to a Pro, like I have here with the M4 chip, that's where you really create content because you got a beautiful OLED display, tandem OLED, it's gorgeous, right? ProMotion, all that stuff. This is going to be where you read your content, see your content, engage in your content. Compared to the 6, let's just get this out of the way. Yes, this is more powerful in terms of the specs we're seeing, A17 Pro versus the previous chipset on this, and you are getting 8 gigabytes of RAM versus 4 gigabytes of RAM. And so you are going to see better performance, but in day-to-day usage, using, let's say, browsing the web or just, watching YouTube or Apple TV or Netflix or Disney Plus, are you going to notice much of a difference? Probably not. It's fast, but it's not going to wow you unless you really get into content creation, which again, like I said, are you going to do this with that? Now, of course, they built the iPad mini 7 for Apple Intelligence, which should be coming out very soon. I've been using that 18.1 beta on my Pro, and I can tell you guys are going to really enjoy it if you have not tried the beta 18.1 yet. It's actually pretty cool. Siri has been drastically improved. Doesn't have all the bells and whistles that Apple said we're going to get towards the end of the year or next year, but it's got a lot. And I'm excited to try it here on the 7 because unfortunately, because I'm testing this in advance, I can't update to the beta for some reason. I think it's just because it's not officially available yet, but at the time of this video, it is, and I can update it. It's going to be on par with this. Are you going to get the jelly scrolling? The answer is no. They've fixed that. So if you were worried about that here on the 6, it looks really odd when I'm scrolling through web pages in apps and I get that jelly roll, it has been smoothened out on this. With that said though, do I wish there was a ProMotion display in this? Of course, it's 2024. We all want ProMotion in all our iPads, and I think Apple should do that. I personally do. But they are looking at this as a much more sort of, economic, basic entry, I would say pseudo entry level iPad. $499 starting point is not a bad price for this. 128 gigabytes of storage on this versus 64 was the entry level for this one. 64 gigabytes in 2021 was a little bit low. We know that. Apple knew that. They've upgraded to 128, which is nice. I got the 512 version here, but I do think the sweet spot is 256. Now, the USB-C port has been upgraded on this as well. I think it's 3.1 Gen 2 if I'm not mistaken. But if you want to use a Thunderbolt 3 drive like I would do on my Pro, it does not work with this. It does not recognize Thunderbolt 3 or 4, so that's unfortunate. But again, this is for consuming content, not creating content. When you keep that in mind, you understand where the mini comes into play. But one of the upgrades that I actually really appreciate is this, the Apple Pencil Pro. Here's the thing, when I use the iPad mini, I'm a host, MC. That's what I do primarily for my day job, and I act and I do other things. But this is what I use because it's professional on stage. It's very easy to have instead of having note cards or a clipboard. It looks great. Some people would want to use a phone on stage. I think that looks not professional enough. My personal opinion, everybody will have their own thoughts on that. But the mini fits the bill. That's why I get space gray in all of them. The only difference between the 6 and the 7, the blue denim case, which is brand new on that, but I got space gray on both of them. This is nice to have because if you need to jot down notes for, like for example, my case where a client, right before we're starting an event, somebody can't make it. You got to change the name of someone who's speaking, or you need to add a note here, add a note there. Before, I'd have to go back onto the on-screen keyboard, type it out. It's very cumbersome because there's no keyboard that comes with this. Apple, make a keyboard for the iPad mini, please. I know there's third-party options, but it'd be nice to have. At least you have a pencil now where you can jot something down and it makes it a lot easier. So, and I appreciate that. And the Apple Pencil Pro is, especially with the way how fluid it is and everything else, it's awesome. Use the calculator on this as well. With this, chef's kiss. But I'm glad they did that. But I do wish there was a keyboard for this. If you have a 6 and you're happy with it, do you need to go to the 7? Unless you really want Apple Intelligence. If you don't, then there's really no need for it. You want the faster processor. You want to do a little bit more with your iPad mini, or maybe you just haven't updated your iPad in a few years. You're thinking, should I go for a 6 and get a little bit cheaper or go for the 7? I would say go for the 7. It's still the same price, $499 is your entry level for this. 128 gigabytes of storage, 64 gigabytes of storage. Don't mess with 64. The sweet spot though is 256. With that, guys, that's it. It's a pretty short video because, as I mentioned, it's an evolution, not a revolution. But if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments section below. If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. More content on the way. Thanks again for the support, and I will chat to you all very, very soon.